Your love is like radiant diamonds bursting inside us, we cannot contain. Your love will.
On November 22nd, 2015, a very special event was held by Camp Christ at St. Rose of Lima Church in Massapequa, New York. The community was first brought together for afternoon mass, over which Father Barr presided.
We decide to go against our conscience, what we know in our gut is right. And what do you do when you're sort of in the middle of that tug of war? If God is really our God, if God really is the most important thing to us, then you do what's right. And pretty much this is what Jesus says. Pilate, there's two kingdoms. There's God's kingdom and there's the world's kingdom. I bow before God's kingdom. The Olympics are not a joke. The Olympics are important. And competing for gold medal, that's even more important. But you know when it's not more important then? Your wife or your baby. The people in your life. You bow before them than you do a gold medal. And maybe you say, well, hey, I want to try and go for both. Absolutely. We go for both. But when it becomes one or the other, what comes first? Who comes first? What kingdom do I really buy into?
Afterwards, a number of male and female athletes between the ages of 13 and 17, both from around the community and prior Camp Christ attendees, had the opportunity to participate in a basketball clinic run by former New York Knicks Charles Oakley and Herb Williams.
Surely come find us like blazing wildfire, singing your name. God of mercy, sweet love mine, I have surrendered to your design. May this offering stretch across the sky. These hallelujahs be multiplied.
Attendees were provided with lunch, courtesy of Anthony's Coal-Fired Pizza, and given Camp Christ apparel, as well as other prizes and gifts. To close out the day, families of the attendees, and from surrounding communities, were brought back together in the church, where New York Yankee manager Joe Girardi hosted a talk on faith, family, and sports, integrating how all work together.
James chapter 1, verses 2 and 3, because you know the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Well, my faith has been tested my whole life. At a young age, I didn't always know it. That's what was happening. But my first real trial came when I was 13 years old. My mother was diagnosed with cancer and given 3 to 6 months to live. My mother had a strong faith. She lived 6 years. And I'm convinced she made it 6 years because she had hope and she had strength in Jesus. Is sometimes people look at professional athletes or people that are really successful in life and say, man, what I wouldn't do to be him. But everyone goes through trials and tribulations. Education was number one in our household. If you didn't get good grades, you couldn't play sports and you got grounded. So I went to Northwestern, signed after my senior year. I played in my hometown, lived with my father, making $700 a month. And it hits me. Why am I playing? I go to my girlfriend, Kim. She said, you're playing baseball because God gave you a gift. And that gift will be your platform to share his gospel one day. She was right. I went back and continued to play and eventually worked my way up to the Chicago Cubs. I was tested again. I was with the Cubs for 4 years and that was all I dreamed about being. And I got traded to New York and I was miserable. They made fun of me on the radio. I was teased. I had to fight for everything I had. And I was fired from Marlins after winning Manager of the Year. Now imagine that. But that's what made me who I am today, those events. Why do I tell you all these things? Because really, the only person that you could ever count on 100% of the time to love you is God. If you don't think God has a hand in your life and has a place for you and thinks that you're special, you're crazy. Because I never could have drew this up so good. Because I would have quit. I would have been a Cub my whole life. I would have never won a World Series. I would have never managed the New York Yankees. You have to trust that he has a plan for you. It's hard for you kids to make the right choice. Make decisions that are based on where you want to be. Love, to me, is putting the other person first and being a servant. So I tell you, the one thing that I want you to work on is love the person next to you.